Hi, this is Tatiana Kolavu, and this is the June Stronger edition of my LinkedIn newsletter. It's called Coaching Yourself in Tough Situations. So, mind you, I am following along with my notes of the newsletter that I've written, so I'm not going to be able to directly look in the camera, and I'll ad lib a little bit of it, but I wanted to make sure that you had all of this information, and hopefully it will help you. So, this is what I first thought when I wrote this newsletter about coaching myself and hopefully to help you coaching yourself in tough situations. Earlier this summer, I had a pretty horrible day. I was at a client's on site and I was getting ready to do a presentation, and I didn't realize this, but they had really intense firewalls in their offices, and I couldn't open my visuals. That same day, I had opened my email that morning and I received a big rejection on something that I had asked for that I really wanted. And to make things worse, I received a text from our kids who were overseas traveling, and the news was that one of them had had to go to the emergency room because of an injury that happened. He was okay afterwards, but you can imagine at the time I felt that the walls were cramming on me, and I had to present, so I had to compartmentalize. I had to do some deep breathing. I had to do a heavy dose of self coaching. If I remember right, I excused myself and went to the bathroom and did all of that. So, regardless of the intensity of the situation and the emotional impact, it may not seem as it was the end of the world, but it all happened at the same time. And to me, that felt very stressful that day. So, you could say, yeah, nobody lost their lives and this too shall pass. But when stress all comes at you at the same time, there are situations that we need to coach ourselves because no one else is going to do it for us. So I have 5 tips for you when the tough situations hit. Here are the things that I suggest that you do. The first one is take yourself on a walk. For me, movement is medicine. When I walk or when I can move during a stressful situation, I have the ability to sort my thoughts. I bring calmness into my mind and I can see clearly or think clearly for some strange reason. It may not be the case for all, but if it works for you, you should move, you should use it. So when we move, there's stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline that are released into our system. And there's so much evidence in research that this happens and movement is beneficial. So when the bad days hit, just get moving. The second tip that I have for you is bring up a level of your or level up your internal language. There is research that was published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, and it examined the effects of distanced self talk. So, let me give you an example of that. I can say, I can do this. Distant self talk is Tatiana, you can do this. Tatiana, you have got this. You can do this. So it would sound like I'm a coach coaching myself, which is really what I'm asking you to do. Research again finds that even small shifts in the language like this gives us more or positively influences our ability to manage our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions under stress. The third tip that I have for you is act on what matters first. And when some of these stressors happen, if you can take action, it in a way feels therapeutic because you can at least do something to make the situation better. In some cases, you can't do anything. You just have to sit there, which I find those are much more stressful situations. So if you're an action oriented person, do a heavy load of positive self-talk and get to work. So imagine this. If you are the athlete, if you are in the arena, in the pool, on the court, and you're fighting the fight, you can also be the coach on the outside, giving yourself encouragement. Because if you don't do that for yourself, nobody is going to do it for you. You really need to have this mindset. So if you can take action, support yourself through the challenge and take action as you go through. Another tip that works for many of us, and it doesn't for others, if it works, you should do it, is to write it down. Part of that self-reflection and part of that journaling has been shown to really do wonders to release stress. And maybe by writing down some journaling, you can look back and see what triggers your stress, which is also really a big part of self-awareness. So journaling is a very private activity. It inquires or requires mindfulness and that self-awareness I talked about. And it doesn't work for anyone and everyone, but if it works for you, take pen and paper and get started. I even sometimes will write notes on my phone in the notes section if I don't have paper and pen. Paper and pen tends to be more actionable. I prefer it as well. Another idea is to ask yourself these questions, and I do this a lot. Sometimes when stress hits and many things happen at once, we catastrophize. So stop yourself and say, what is the worst outcome this can happen? Is this going to matter in a year? That's one of my favorites. Ask yourself, is this worth your energy right now? Is this going to matter in a year? Are you happening to catastrophize? I'm Greek. I catastrophize a lot. How much of this is under your control? So part of that self-coaching dialogue is not just encouraging yourself, but trying to reason with yourself in a way and asking those key questions. A tip that I also recommend is lean on or reach out to your tribe, as I call it, the people that you have around you that ground you. I have several people that talk me off the ledge. So maybe ask me, are you catastrophizing? Is this the worst that could happen? What can you do about it? So maybe have people that do that questioning for you and are your cheerleaders. They always will be there, but remember, the first person is you. So reach out to your tribe and make sure that you are there for them when they need you as well. That's also an important part. Finally, the last tip that I have, that probably if I were to prioritize these, I would say to take care of you. I leave the best for last. But when you're facing a challenging situation, take a minute and reflect on the energy and emotion you need to perform to be at your best, because this is a high stressful situation that's drawing a lot of your energy. So if you have a high stressful situation, maybe balance by doing things that are good for you. So sometimes you perform better when you remove a lot of distractions. You can focus during stress, or ask yourself, do you need to be calm? Do you need to be centered? Or do you need to be around people that are loving you and supporting you? What do you need to think clearly? Even though I'm a person that I have a lot of people around me, when I need to focus and I'm stressed, I may stop and write something down. I may take action. I may compartmentalize and just focus just in the moment. So a walk, a cup of tea, a massage, anything to make you feel better. So there's stress that happens in the moment, and there's more chronic stress. So you have to decide which one of the two situations you're having and what are the situations you have to coach yourself through. So this newsletter is published on LinkedIn. If you just go to LinkedIn and you put Stronger Kolevu, you'll find the newsletter. You can subscribe. If you already do, thank you so much. But in the newsletter, I have also linked a course that I recorded in the summer of 2021. The course is called Resilience Strategies for Optimal Performance. And it takes the analogy of a lot, or not just the analogy of a lot of the strategies that athletes use are strategies that are also useful to all of us as what I call our performance athletes in the day of work. But here's what's interesting about this course. I created and recorded this in the summer of 2021 when our son, Alexi, was going through a very strange and very difficult, I would say dangerous medical situation. And there was so much anxiety, there was so much ambiguity. And a lot of these tips I was practicing myself. I had a lot of conversations with my content manager saying, I can't believe I'm writing about resilience and I have to be resilient right now. So I can tell you the dark cloud went past. He's fine. But it's very interesting, or I'd say it's serendipitous that that was the topic that I was creating during that time. And I can tell you that those were strategies that worked. So go and look at that video, or if you have access to courses, go ahead and find it and watch it. Or let me know if you can't find it, I'll open it for you. So bottom line is we all face tough situations in our lives, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, but coaching ourselves can make us stronger and can teach us a lot of new skills and can help us overcome some of the stress that comes in the future. So I hope that I've given you some tips, some ideas on some things to do differently. And if maybe someone else in your life could benefit from this video or the newsletter when you find it, please share it with them. Feel free to follow me on LinkedIn. And thank you so much for watching.